Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Today the topic is harmony in daily life. We say things are in harmony when they are in agreement with one another. When we speak and act as we think, then thought, speech, and actions are in harmony. Sri Ramakrishna used to say quite often to the devotees, Manmukh ek karo, your speech and my thought should be same. Again, he used to say there should not be any theft in the inner chamber of the heart. That means you think something and say something else, or say something and act in a different way. That should not be. Harmony also refers to inner peace and calmness of mind. When you say all these things, it seems very hard, very easy to attain. We just have to calm our mind, we'll have harmony. But in daily life, we see it's not so easy. Harmony and peace keep on eluding us, or most of the time. Instead, we are swayed by the passing currents of events. The Japanese tea ceremony gives great significance to harmony. The Chinese character Wa, I don't know whether it is a correct W-A, it's called name, spelling, for harmony means not only harmony, but also togetherness as well as equality. So harmony involves all this: togetherness, equality, calmness of mind. Human beings are not isolated islands. We are nobody is completely separated and independent of others. We all have an ever-expanding, ever-widening circle of lives and influence around us. First, there is a family. Then there are neighbors, school, place of work, community groups, political groups, cultural groups. Then here we have also the sports groups, almost like a religious group. Then there are religious groups. And then beyond that comes the nation. So we have to make adjustment to all these different levels. It's a constant adjustment. To live in harmony with all, making adjustment continuously is a constant struggle. Most of the problems we face in life, in the society, are due to the failure of people to make these adjustments. Ralph Train says, all the frictions, all the uncertainties, all the ills, the sufferings, the fears, the forebodings, the perplexities of life come to us because we are out of harmony with the divine purpose of things. They will continue to come as long as we so live. Rowing against the tide is hard and uncertain. Problems will be there. Difficulties will be there in life. It's not because we had to make constant adjustments. It's an ongoing process. If we look around, we can see there is harmony in the universe. Every single item is related to other items in a definite way, and each have its own place. We see that the universe is constantly changing all the time, always changing. There's the saying where we don't step into the same river a second time. The water has already flown, so the river has changed. So the change is always happening all the time, constantly. However, there's a pattern, a rhythm in all these changes that are constantly taking place. Now, there is nothing haphazard. We may think, oh, this is just a haphazard change, because we look at it from a very short time span. Our way of looking at things is within a short time span. So we think, but we don't see any pattern in the changes. But there is a pattern in all the things that happen, all the changes. The Vedic sages call this cosmic pattern rhythm, R-T-A-M, rhythm. The sun, the moon, stars, plants, animals, wind, water, birth, death, everything follow this cosmic pattern, rhythm. And this is the original state. To live in this cosmic pattern is to attain peace and harmony. And when we forget this original state, we cut ourselves off from the rhythm of life because of our ignorance or egotism or greed. And then all the problems come. So look at all the what's happening in the world now. What we always talk about, the destruction of the environment, climate change, all those things. Why? Because of the man's greed. We are destroying the ecological balance because of our greed. We have forgotten, or we have cut off ourselves from that rhythm of life. Though there is this harmony, it's a pattern or rhythm in life and the universe, very few people are aware or conscious of this natural harmony. We may experience brief moments of serenity and peace and notice this harmony in nature when we are out in the nature, say, like sitting in the a lonely forest or a far away mountain or hill, or even in a beach, looking out at the ocean without any disturbance, alone. You may touch that, we may notice that harmony. We may feel calmness and serenity, or looking at the sunset, sunrise. We may have brief moments of calmness and serenity we may experience. But we fail to see it around us in our day-to-day world, in our workaday world, and also within us. The main reason for this failure is because the restlessness of our mind. Full of desires, so the mind is always tossed from one thing to another, from one thought to another, can't settle on any one idea. But if and when we are able to calm our mind by reducing the number of thoughts, then we can have that harmony within us and also experience harmony in the external world, the world outside. But at present, our inner world and outer world are completely separated. In order to see harmony with outside, we should have harmony within us. We experience the outside external world depending upon what we have within us. If we have love and compassion, then we will see the world full of love and compassion. If we have got anger and hatred, we will see the world full of anger and hatred. What we have, we see outside. So only when the mind is calm and peaceful can the mind feel the peace and harmony in the universal life. That fleeting moments of harmony we experience when we are out in the nature can be increased, consciously cultivated through the practice of meditation. Now, what happens in meditation? We all know when we, in meditation, we turn our attention inward, trying to shut out the external world, at least for the time being. And we become an observer of all the mental conditions and thoughts going on. Sometimes, instead of being the observer, we become the enjoyer and then go on enjoying the reliving of the old experiences. Then after some time, suddenly we realize how we are supposed to be just observing. We're supposed to be sitting for meditation, not enjoying the past experience. We have forgotten. So that's all. It's a struggle. But in real meditation, that we are supposed to do that. We are to remain as an observer of the mental condition and then let go of those emotions, feelings that rise up in the mind. Done properly, concentrating on a spiritual ideal, meditation can transform the consciousness. Now, at present, our mind, the topmost level of the mind, what we call manas, where all the impressions come, it's always analyzing what is this good, bad, right, wrong, moving between, it's oscillating all the time. Behind that or beneath that, there is the intuitive faculty, buddhi, which gives unity to all the experience. But in most people, the buddhi is closed, dormant, not able to manifest. Through meditation, the buddhi gradually blooms or grows and comes above the ordinary mind. And then we can experience the unity of all the experiences. And meditation is the process of this inner growth. When early days, we all know, meditation is a constant struggle. And as we always say, many people expecting immediate results, instant illumination, may give up meditation after a few days attempt, because they don't know. Meditation is a constant struggle. It doesn't give immediate results. It's a fight with your own mind. But when done regularly, steady practice for a long time, the definition of meditation or for practice, Patanjali says it has to be long, continuous. Do for some days and then stop it, and then take up again. It won't do. We have to patiently persevere in the practice. Then the buddhi emerges above the ordinary mind. And then meditation becomes a natural experience of unity and harmony of life. So what does all this show? That we have to start with ourselves. The first point where we start is our own self. Only when we have harmony and peace in our personal life can we hope to have it in the social life, the family life, social life, and extend to national and international level. We all speak about having world peace. But do we have peace at home, in our homes? No. Do we have peace within you? No, we don't have peace. And we speak about now world peace. Doesn't happen. First, we have to start with ourselves. There's a saying, if there is righteousness in the heart, there will be beauty in the character. If there is beauty in the character, there will be harmony in the home. If there is harmony in the home, there will be order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. So first start with the individual. There has to be righteousness in the heart. We have to order within our inside. Then there'll be character will be there. Then the home will be happy home, harmonious, peaceful home situation, family situation. And from there you come to nation and then international peace. So the first field of activity for practicing harmony is the family. There should be mutual love, respect, trust, appreciation, and cooperation among the members of the family. Trying to get everybody into one set pattern of behavior that the head of the family wants to have, it will be disastrous. It's only lead to disharmony. Everybody is different. We have to understand each individual is an individual, separate. No two persons are same. Even if you say, even in the case of identical twins, in physical appearance, characteristics, they may be same. But in their nature, their attitudes, aptitudes, they may be different. Each one has come with his or her own bundle of impressions. That decides how the person is developing. So we cannot put everybody in the same type of behavior. We cannot expect. And if we are trying to put everybody in the same way of behavior, then there will be conflict, disturbance, fight, and there won't be any peace in the family. So we have to remember there should be unity, not uniformity. Unity in diversity. We have to accept we can say these are the basic principles that we follow in our family. These are the characteristic traits we want to follow, the virtues that we want to develop. That's fine. But how you develop, how you practice it, you have to give the freedom to each one. And freedom is the condition for growth. If there is no freedom, there can be any growth. And love, mutual love. Love is the lubricant for the smooth running of the family. There is love. Many of the frictions that we see in family can be resolved. As the German philosopher Goethe observed, he is the happiest, be he king or peasant, who finds his peace at home. If you have peace at home, whether you are rich or poor, whether you are a powerful person or a common person, most insignificant person in the eyes of others, you'll be happy because there is peace at home. And to have this peace and harmony at home or in the community, the first ingredient is love. We have to love. Love and friendship. Friendship for all. Jesus says, love thy neighbor. Now, why should I love the neighbor? Why should I not hate or harm the person? Why should I love? Vedanta says, because your neighbor is yourself. There is no separate the other person other than you. The same self, the same divine is present in all. So if you harm another person, you are actually harming yourself. So this is one of the basic tenets of Vedanta, it's unity of existence. The Upanishad says, the husband loves the wife, not for the sake of the wife, but for the sake of the self, capital S. The wife loves the husband, not for the sake of the husband, but for the sake of the self. The children love the parents, not for the sake of the parents, but for the sake of the self. The parents love the children, not for the sake of the children, but for the sake of self. When we hear, you may think about how can that be? If a husband and wife don't love each other, yes, they love, but not for the sake of the husband or the wife, but because the self is present in that. The same self is present in all. If the self is not there, we don't love the body anymore. What happens if the husband or wife, oh, we say, I can't live without you, but once the self leaves the body, what happens? We try to get rid of the body as quickly as possible. So where was the love? The love was for the self which was within that body. That same divine spirit is in everything and every being in the creation, both in inanimate as well as animate beings. The difference is, in inanimate objects, the self is not manifested at all. But in very little manifestation in plants, little more in insects and small creatures, then still more greater manifestation in animals, bigger animals, still greater in human beings. Then there's a difference between within human beings, depending upon how much you are manifesting that divine. The greatest manifestation you see in sages, saints, and God-man incarnation. But it's the same divine self. So for the harmonious existence, love and care for others is very important. When we may say, oh, we love others, but in real, if you really analyze, we love ourselves most. All the love for others is love for the extension of the love for ourselves. We love ourselves most because the self is in us. And we are not able to see the self in others, so our love is less. But as we are able to see more and more the same self present in others, then the love we'll be able to love everybody in the same way. So love is the first ingredient for the harmonious living. The next one is treating others with respect and dignity. Each and every person in this world has his or her or its place in the scheme of things. Nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant, nothing is worthless. Everything is important. We, in a painting, each dot, stroke is important. If you remove that there's something lacking in the painting. The same way in the scheme of life, the scheme of things, every being, every item has got its place. So we should give due respect to each. And then in the life of Holy Mother, we see one incident. A person, after sweeping the floor, just threw the broomstick. Holy Mother said, put the broomstick in its place properly. Just don't throw it. Throwing it insignificant. After all, what's it? It's a broomstick. Yes. Broomstick is nothing else can do the job that the broomstick does. So we should give due respect to that. Not that you should salute it and put it on your head, no. The due respect. Keep it properly in its proper place. Everything, every item, every being should be given due respect and dignity. The respect and dignity we give to a person should not depend upon his or her status, wealth, or position in society, but be determined by our dignity and sense of justice as a human being. How much dignity or respect you give to another person shows our dignity and sense of justice. And again, to quote Gothe, treat a man as he is, and he will remain as he is. Treat a man as he can be and should be, and he will become as he can be and should be. See, I'll read that again. Treat a man as he is, and he will remain as he is. Treat a man as he can be and should be, and he will become as he can be and should be. So there is potential for a progress, growth in every one of us. So we give the chance for the opportunity, and they will be able to manifest that potential. Many times people don't get the opportunity or chance. So we have to treating people with dignity, respect. We give them that opportunity to manifest their potential. Another ingredient for harmonious living is tolerance. Live and let live. We have to accept the fact that we are all different. On the physical, mental, intellectual planes, we are all different. And we have to respect that difference. Everyone has got a right to live their life according to their ideas and ideals, so long as it does not harm others. My freedom to live my life should not interfere with other people's freedom to lead their life according to their ideas. But as long as it does not interfere with general society's freedom, they should be have the freedom to progress according to their way. There's when the Zoroastrians came to India, the story goes that they landed on the coast of Gujarat, and a party went to the local king, and as the spokesperson was there, the king asked, "What do you want?" So they said, "We want freedom to bring up our children in our tradition and our culture, our faith." The king said, "Yes." Then what else? "We want some land to cultivate so that we won't be a burden on the society." Granted. And then the king asked, "What will you give in return?" Then the chief spokesperson asked for a bowl of milk and some sugar. So that was brought. He put the milk in the sugar, stirred it nicely. "Now we will be like the sugar, sweetening the milk. We will enrich the society without showing ourselves. You can't see the sugar. The sugar has become one with the milk. We will be like that." So freedom to grow. And that is allowing others to live their life in their way. The customs and manners will be different from others. Just because they are strange, they are different from ours, should not be a reason to not having their freedom. They should be able to allow freedom to follow that. And another important element is compassion, feeling for others, feeling for the suffering of others. And not just simply feeling the suffering of others, but there should be an active effort to alleviate that suffering. If we have that real feeling, others will be able to sense that, feel it, that you really feel for them. That's why Mark Twain aptly remarked, kindness is a language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. If you're feeling from the heart, bottom of your heart, you feel for the person, for the suffering of the person, everybody will feel it, can understand it, sense it. And the kindness can touch even the hardest heart. And the greatest form of compassion arises out of the understanding of that Vedantic concept, all life is one, unity of existence. All life is one. There is no difference. When one life is harmed, it will harm all others. Now we are seeing that. We are feeling and seeing and understanding that with the global change in the ecosystem, something is harmed, everybody else is having the result. Sooner or later, everybody is feeling that. So compassion, feel the suffering of others and try to alleviate it. And when there is love in the heart, compassion finds expression through service to suffering, trying to remove their suffering of the needy. Otherwise, just talking about compassion won't do. Giving big lectures is not enough. Put it in practice. Show the expression of that love and compassion through your action. Quite often our efforts to bring peace in our daily life or at a social level, national level, international level, end up in more problems. Because we are not concentrating on the real solution. We are trying to put on forward our ideas, which are often put forward because of our desires, greed, selfish interests. So that will be causing more problems. Life is a constant struggle that everybody agrees that. Nobody can say life is smooth. Their children may think life is smooth, but they also got their own struggles. There are struggles against internal and external forces. Some of them we may not be conscious of it. We may not be aware of it, that's all. But life, everybody has to go through struggles all the time. Once Swami Vivekananda was asked by the Raja of Khetri, Swamiji, what is life? And Swamiji said, life is the unfoldment and development of a being under circumstances tending to press it down. Unfoldment and development of a being under circumstances trying to press it down. So the nature, internal and external, is trying to press down, and we struggle against that. That is life. Without struggle, we will be overpowered by all these forces. And struggle is the sign of growth. Without struggle, there is no growth. Life becomes stagnant. We may see people having very peaceful life by flowing with the current, like the herd following the leader without making any opposition. But that is the peace of bondage, peace in bondage. You are in bondage. You don't have any freedom. We have to flow with the current. You cannot get out of the current. You cannot get out of the flow. You cannot do anything other than what the leader wants. So what is the freedom? What's the peace there? It's a peace in bondage. It's like the peace in death. There is no struggle. Simply, struggle is the sign of life. If there is no struggle, you are no better than dead person. We may see many people simply conforming their behavior to a group, to be accepted and to feel that you belong to that particular group or social circle. So we whether we like or not, we just follow the group, accept their ideas. This is what's called herd instinct. Without questioning, just follow the leader. It always results in bondage, not in freedom. And freedom is the birthright of every single person. We are all struggling for freedom, though we are not aware of it. And we see this type of behavior or this type of peace and harmony in many of the authoritarian regimes. There is no freedom, but we just follow what the authorities tell us so that we can lead our life quietly without any struggle. But that is the peace of bondage. And any creative mind which rebel against that bondage end up and they face problems and difficulties. According to Swamiji, freedom is the one goal of nature, sentient or insentient. Freedom is the goal. Consciously or unconsciously, everything is struggling towards that goal. And the desire for higher freedom, not the freedom in bondage, but for higher freedom, manifests itself as spiritual struggle. That's the higher freedom. We want to be free from this cycle of birth and death, free from the bondage of the senses. At present, our freedom, we all say we are all free. We are not like the authoritarian countries. We have got all full freedom. We live in a free society. Yes, we are free. We are free. Free for what? To indulge in our senses. Whatever we want, we can do. But are we really free? The real freedom is freedom from the senses. We are not. We are all in bondage. That's the higher freedom. Higher freedom is freedom from the senses, freedom from nature, from the bondage of nature. That we don't have. And that struggle manifests as a spiritual struggle. And often that may create problems for adjustment with other people. When we start a spiritual life, we may have some difficulty with other people because most of them are flowing with the current, and the person who is trying to lead the spiritual life is trying to flow against the current. So there will be difficulty and problems of adjustment. But a certain degree of adjustment is necessary in social life. We have to live in the society and we have to make some adjustments. If a person is rigid and stiff, puffed up with ego and feeling so important, there will be constant clashes with other people of the same temperament. So nobody is able to give in. So there will be constant clashes, what we call personality clashes. It's quite often, quite common. Like one rock hitting another rock, or as Swami Ranganathananda used to refer to as billiard balls. But on the other hand, if one is like a sponge, what happens if you feel like a sponge? You put pressure, it goes down. You remove the pressure, release the pressure, comes back to the original position. Or like the spring, press it down, goes down, remove the pressure, jumps back to the original former position. Then there will be less conflicts. There will be more harmony. Even for harmonious living, we need to transform our ego. Not just for the spiritual progress. Spiritual progress, transformation of ego is very important. Even for a harmonious living in society, we have to transform the ego. If we are so puffed up with ego, feeling so self-important, then we cannot have a peaceful life. So we need to adapt to and adjust to situation and people. Even if we are not able to love others, at least we can not hate others. Because hatred eats into the system. And if you are hating somebody else, you are the one who is suffering most, not that person. That person may not even know that you hate that person. But you are being, the hatred eats into your system, and you are the sufferer. You are the one who is suffering most. You are the loser. If we keep an open mind, we can learn from everybody, friends and enemies, strangers, as well as from our success and failure, from saints and sinners. Learn all the time and enrich our lives. How do you learn from a saint and a sinner? Well, saints we emulate their lives. They are good people, a noble character. We try to emulate, model our life according to them. How do you learn from the sinners? A wicked person. That person's behavior, character shows what we should avoid. So we can learn, if we have got an open mind, we can learn all the time and enrich our lives. The most important thing to remember is the source of harmony is not outside, but within us. We all have got that source of harmony within us, the Atman. So it's by discovering that center of unity, by touching that point of harmony or source of harmony, that we attain peace. When we connect with that source, we will be charged with higher power, and we gain calmness, serenity. We will have rhythm in our life. Every act of ours will be rhythmic. And from that comes poise. And from poise comes dignity. And our lives become rhythmic and harmonious. When our lives are rhythmic and harmonious, nothing can harm us. No, we will become invulnerable for attacks from the external world. Nothing can harm us. We benefit ourselves, and we become a blessing to the whole of humanity. That is the great benefit of having a harmonious life within our being. Thank you.
So this week we have, as usual, the yoga class on Thursday from 10 a.m. This coming Friday night, we'll have the fortnightly discussion on Bhagavad Gita, led by Gayatriprana. And also next Sunday, Gayatriprana will be giving the talk on the Gospel of Sri Ram Krishna. And also there'll be the Gita class via Microsoft Teams in the evening from 8 p.m. You're always welcome to join that. And notably, that'll be the last talk that Gayatriprana is giving next Sunday before the visit come pilgrimage to India. She'll be away for many weeks, getting back early November. And of course, in her absence, Sri Dharapranaji will be filling the gaps, including leading the discussions on Friday nights. Now we'll conclude with listening to a guided meditation by revered Pravrajika Gayatriprana Mataji. And then I gather you pretty well, all of you here are members, so would assume you're going to stay back for lunch and we'll have the AGM.
Bow down to thee, O thou pure existence, the one support of all the worlds. I bow down to thee, O thou pure intelligence, the one self of the multiform universe. I bow down to thee, the non-dual being, the giver of freedom. I bow down to thee, Supreme Brahman, limitless and absolute. Let us try to relax the body and the mind, gather our thoughts, and meditate upon the radiance of the Divine Being in the depths of our heart. The Supreme Being is the one source of all life, the one source of all strength, of all wisdom, of all love, and of all joy. The Supreme Being seems to be far away from us, but in fact, He is nearer than the heart. He is the innermost dweller of our heart. Let us close our eyes to all outward sensations and go inwards to find Him, seated there in all His glory and splendor, and waiting for us to turn our attention towards Him. Let us try to turn our inner eye backwards. Focus your attention on the center of your heart. We find there, emerging out of the gloomy darkness, which is the first thing that we see. When we look very closely and with faith and trust, we can see a tiny spot of glorious light becoming visible. Believe that you are seeing it. It is there. A thin beam of brightness coming from that spot of radiance rises up, becomes brighter and brighter, illumining the space within the heart. This bright spot of light is your individual consciousness. The ray coming from the spot of light, when we look closer, we can find that it connects the spot of light to the very bright star of ineffable radiance shining high above in the space of your heart. Above in the heart, in the space above in the heart, is a very bright star. And in the center of your heart is the spot of light. And a golden ray joins this spot with the star. The bright star is the cosmic consciousness behind everyone and everything in this universe. And also beyond it. Your individual consciousness is really a part and parcel of the universal consciousness, the Supreme Spirit, sovereign majesty. The extremely brilliant star above, the seat of absolute intelligence, and the luminous spot of light below, the seat of individual consciousness, are connected with each other by the beautiful ray, the state of constant awareness. That is our state. Our individual consciousness is always connected with the cosmic or universal consciousness. And we experience that truth in our heart only when we turn our gaze away from the world and towards the heart. The entire space in the heart is luminous with a golden radiance, a tiny radiance. Only these two entities, the bright, wonderful star, well-shaped star above, pulsating with universal consciousness, and the spot of light below, our individual consciousness, sustained by the luminous power from the star above. It's always present there. This meeting of the two, always in a state of yoga. Universal consciousness feeding our individual consciousness. We are blind to it. Now in these few moments of silence and solitude, we become aware of this wonderful phenomenon that's always within the heart. The bright, very bright star above and the luminous spot below, connected by the ray of light. Let us concentrate on this phenomenon for a few moments. And feel the peace that already there. Experience the peace that is already there. Hari Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.